South Africa's parliament speaker resigned on Wednesday, weeks after a home was raided and a graft probe likely to hurt the ruling African National Congress heading into May elections. In a resignation letter signed, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula said she decided to step down with immediate effect to uphold the integrity of parliament and focus on the investigation against her. Now joining me on the program is Zama, Ntshona, that's ATM spokesperson, and Mthatha, Mpumelelo, Zikalala, a legal practitioner from South Africa. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and also to your viewers.
All right, let me start off with you. Great. Now, let me start off with you, Zama. What do you make of the resignation of the Speaker, of the House?
Thank you so much. Well, for us as the African Transformation Movement, the integrity of the National Assembly is of utmost importance. And not only that, for us as the African Transformation Movement, making sure that there is adherence to the rule of law is another important factor that at all times we want to see happening. And also maybe the third issue would be it is important for us to see that Lady Justice is effective, efficient, and with no eyes. So we welcome that there are members of the African National Congress who are able to take this admirable stance when implicated. But for us as the African Transformation Movement, this is indicative of the Ramaphosa administration. The office of the presidency is tainted. The office of the speaker is tainted. When you look at the various reports that we have had over the years, they indicate that the ANC as a whole, because when you look at the spider web of corruption, you see that it is deeply entrenched and rooted. And therefore, it is not just a question of one individual who sees this, but it should be a question of the ruling party must wake up and see that South Africa does not need a party that is as corrupt as it is.
All right, let me move to you, Zikalala. But this time around, let me get your reaction to a statement, by the speaker. She said, given the seriousness of the much publicized allegation against me, I cannot continue in this role. And then she further went on to say that I maintain my innocence and I'm determined to restore my good reputation, as this is in no way an indication or admission to guilt. This is a statement, an official statement in reaction to, of course, all of what is happening around her. I would like to know what you think.
I think it was mounting pressure from the side of the speaker, and especially Parliament, to say that how are you going to preside over the National Assembly when you have a dark cloud which is hanging over you? Secondly, you also have what is looming from the party that is deployed to Parliament, which is African National Congress, when it comes to the step aside rule, which is applicable. And by this time, you would have been asked to step aside and for you to resign in any way from your position as a Speaker of Parliament. So for me, even though it was a voluntary act of resigning, but it was forced in a way because she knew that at the end of the day, she's going to have to walk the plank. There's no other way because the charges are looming. The only way in which, or the only winning in which she has been able to do is to avoid being dragged and being put behind a police van. And indeed, she was arrested in a much more dignified manner of saying that I'm going to hand over myself to the police. I'm going to be processed and do my bail application without the police having come to me. But for that, I think she already knew that at the end of the day, I'm going to need to resign. It has come to an end. I may have wanted them to wait up until the rising of the 6th administration on the 29th of May, but I don't think that the date is going to meet me now. Let me go and hand myself over and deal with the problem that I'm facing.
All right, let me go back to you, Zama. Now, this is not the first or a first official from the ruling party, the ANC, to be accused of corruption. Even the president, there's the Falafala scandal too, hanging around the president, who is, of course, gunning for the elections too. Now, what does this reflect of the ANC as a party? And also, the elections are just around the corner. How much of an impact do you think this will have on the chances of the party?
Thank you so much. When you closely look at the state of capture report and the spider web of corruption, you can clearly see that the people of this country should actually look at the African National Congress with an eye that clearly sees who they are, people who are not interested in the well-being of the masses of this country, who are self-centered, who are self-driven, people who put themselves first. That is the first thing that I think the people of this country must look into as they look at the ruling party. But also the issue of the use of state machinery to actually protect members of parliament. You would remember not just members of parliament, but members of the ANC and those who are friends of those members. We've had Fikile Mbalula, who is the Secretary General of the movement, coming out and actually admitting that they give each other a line of march to protect each other, even though they do know that they are in contravention of some laws. So for us at the African Transformation Movement, I think it is important for us at this stage, when looking at the ruling party, to state that the ruling party has shown itself to be a corrupt movement to the core. It cannot be trusted, and South Africans must stop putting their faith on a party that is clearly demonstrated that it does not want the rule of law to actually be the one that should be the one that is a determinant and the pulse of the country. And also, when it comes to the issue of the president, we know that Section 96, subsection 2A on matters of other paid work, the president was found to have prima facie evidence by an independent panel, and that report still stands. Practitioner 34, subsection 1, on issues of reporting. If you have reasonably known, or you are an individual who has committed money over 100,000, you must take the issue to a DBCI officer. We know that the president did not do that. Section 34, subsection 4E, the owners of the reporting is in the member of a closed cooperation. And we know that the president is a sole owner of the Ndabanyoni enterprise, and the president did not do that. Issues of conflict of interest and issues of unlawful instruction, consistent with the Section 89 impeachment committee, the president still has prima facie evidence. And now remember that that report has not been overturned. That report remains. That report has not.
Zama, are you there? I think we lost a bit of connection there with Zama. Let me move back to you, Zikalala. Okay, I think we have you back. We lost you for a moment, Zama.
All right. Did you get the part where I was going through the charges and how?
Yes, we got the part. We got the part, but maybe we should just give Zikalala, a chance to react to some of these issues. Now, Zika, Zama said or suggests that the ANC might not just be as credible, maybe as they were, and maybe even suggest that corruption, has sort of made a headway when it comes to the party. Do you also share that line of thought?
Well, I wouldn't be the head of authority to state that, except to say then, whenever there are certain allegations that are there, I think our laws are so developed and are so entrenched and superior to such an extent that anyone can go to court and dispute whatever action has been taken. So in the Parapala issue, for example, when Parliament took the decision it took, it was up to members of the political parties to then go to court and say, we're going to review this decision. We do not think it's okay. We think there's something wrong that has taken place. We think the cadet deployment has been utilized. We think that members of parliament, maybe they are not using their own independent ways of thinking and they're fueled by political backing and party lines. So it is in that instance in which then you go to court so that you can be able to get the reprieve that you are looking for. The same applies with any other parliamentarian that you might have or any other member of a political party that is there. The fact of the matter is, if a law has been broken, it's the law enforcement agencies which are supposed to take that on, and it's the National Prosecuting Authority which is supposed to prosecute. If none of the above has taken place, then every member of the public has every right to go to court and say to the court, you have an organ of state which is supposed to do law enforcement agency work, you have an organ of state which is meant to prosecute, and they're not doing such, can you please intervene and give them the instruction of doing so? That has been done before. If you look at the charges currently being faced by former President Jacob Zuma, it's exactly through the instruction of the court in which we see him in court today, having to answer to all the allegations that he's now facing. And the branch of the law and all the systems of the law will then be taken upon him. So even if there may be allegations and instances that are there, at least we have the assurance that you can go to court and the rule of law will be applied regardless of who the individual is.
Now, before, of course, I let you go, Zama, just a quick one in 30 seconds. What do you make of the upcoming polls? Did you get me? I said, what do you make of the upcoming elections? Do you see a change of status quo, or the status quo remains?
All right, thank you so much. Well, for us as the African Transformation Movement, on the basis of even the trends, the polls, the levels of tolerance that you find within our society, you definitely see that there is more enlightenment. There are lesser people who are treating politics as a way of worship, but you can't run away from the fact that truly you have a strong brand that you are actually dealing with. But I believe that the people of South Africa are finally seeing the light. I believe that the inroads that we saw in 2016, the inroads that we saw in 2019, the inroads that we are seeing, that we saw in 2021, are indicative that the people have finally come to a point where they are now saying enough is enough. You know, when you look at the polls and they are directing the ANC to dip under 50%, that is also indicative of the level of awareness and the agitation that you find within society. The people of this country, I think, will go to these polls and actually be honest to themselves that we need to imagine a society.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. Zama Ntshona, that's ATM spokesperson, and Mpumelelo Zikalala, legal practitioner from South Africa. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. And it's a wrap on today's episode of the program. In case you missed it, you can always catch up on YouTube. That's at News Central TV. Watch us there. Well, my name is Dapo Adegboye. Bye for now.